Welcome to episode 29 of 100 Songs. This is my project where I have identified 100 songs that I really enjoy a lot and go back and reflect on them and have a little bit of a discussion about the song, the album to some extent, and a little bit about the artists. And so far, it's been a lot of fun. I'm almost a third of the way through my list. And we're just going to keep going today with the band LARD and their album, The Last Temptation of Reid. The song we're going to talk about is my favorite from them, Pineapple Face. LARD is one of those bands that is a super, it's not really a super group. I don't know if I like that term, actually. They're a band of people from other bands that form a band. And there's a lot of those out there. And this one I discovered because of the band Ministry, whom I was really into. At the time, I really liked their post-pop stuff. They started getting into that industrial metal. And their albums, their early stuff, I thought was really great. I even like a lot of their mid catalog, and then I sort of lost my connection with them, in the later years. But anyway, I was a big fan of Ministry, and they had multiple side projects, actually, like I think 3 or 4 or 5 that I can think of off the top of my head. This one was my favorite of theirs. It was a joint venture or a collaboration, to use the current term, with legendary singer Jello Biafra of the Dead Kennedys. Now, anybody into punk music or rock music, especially if you've been around a little while, you know who Jello Biafra is. And he has done a collaboration with the Melvins, too, that I'm really fond of, because I'm a huge Melvins fan. And here he's with basically the band Ministry. So, founded in 1988 by 2 members of Ministry as a side project. Al Jorgensen on guitar, and typically does vocals for Ministry anyway, and Paul Barker on bass. Those two put this band together and got Jello Biafra to do the vocals and pretty much write the lyrics. I'm pretty sure, because they're very Jello Biafra-like lyrics. Let's see. It's a mix of industrial and punk. Ministry is more like industrial and metal, and Jello Biafra's got a punk background. So, kind of makes sense when you put the two together. You sort of get a blend of a little bit of all three, actually. There's a little bit of metal in there, too. For sure. Last Temptation of Reid was the first official album, full album from LARD. One of very few. They've got 2 albums that they did, and then they've got 2 what they call EPs. And the first thing that they released was an EP called The Power of LARD. And then they came out with Last Temptation of Reid, and then Pure Chewing Satisfaction. Then they did one more EP after that. And Al Jorgensen has been talking about, on and off for decades, about doing another LARD album with Jello Biafra. Well, it'd have to be with Jello Biafra, or it wouldn't be LARD. So, this particular song, I am super fond. There's like a bunch of songs on this album that I really like, and there's some that are less memorable, I would say. But this one's my favorite. Pineapple Face is a reference to Manuel Noriega. And it's very up-tempo. The lyrics are pretty wild and all over the place. Very political, of course, a la Jello Biafra. And what I particularly like about this song is the super weird chorus. Pretty much everything about the super weird chorus. So we're going to cover it. The Voodoo Priestess's Interplanetary Crack lyrics above is the beginning of the chorus. It changes a little bit, but it's this like dun, dun, dun. I shouldn't have done that just now, but it's got a feeling about it. It's kind of creepy. His vocals are a little bit creepy sometimes, which is one of the things I really like about him. It's very nasally, high-pitched sort of voice, but super unique, and actually a really big fan. I was never a big fan of Dead Kennedys until really recently, actually, which is crazy because I've done a lot of listening of Jello Biafra side projects, never got into Dead Kennedys somehow until my son, who is into a lot of punk music, he's a big Dead Kennedys fan. He's super into Dead Kennedys, and so he's been playing them a lot for a while now, like I don't know, at least a year, a couple of years, I don't know. And I like a lot of it, quite a bit. So I've kind of become a fan of the Dead Kennedys, which isn't a stretch, really. It's the kind of music I like. It makes sense. So Jeff Ward, who plays the drums on this song and a bunch of other songs for other projects, unfortunately committed suicide in 1993, and Bill Riflin from Ministry did the drums on Pure Chewing Satisfaction and then the final EP. But Bill Ward did the first two on this. And what else can we say about this? This came out in 1990, which is right as I was in junior college. And beginning of a great era of music, I would say. And let's listen to a little bit of this. We'll pick it up at, I don't remember where we're going to pick this up. I think it's the end of one of the choruses, or part of a chorus, and then, part of a verse, and then into the chorus. Jesus. All right, here we go. I went on a little longer than I was planning, but I realized that the part where they're chanting Cara de Pina, Muere, Muere, came up, and Cara de Pina is Pineapple Face. And Die, Die, Assassin, something like that. So what else can I say about LARD and Jello Biafra? Jello Biafra, founder of Alternative Tentacles, just had an Alternative Tentacles event with a bunch of Alternative Tentacles bands at the Great American Music Hall in San Francisco a week ago. And my son, they were giving away one pair of tickets online or via social media or something. And he put through his name in the hat and actually won. So he went down there and with his girlfriend and got to see Jello Biafra in person. He hosted the event, so he went up there and did some talking about the label. He lives in San Francisco, not my son, Jello Biafra. And the Alternative Tentacles is basically run out of the Bay Area, I think. Not sure about that. So it was kind of cool that he got to do that. I've never seen Jello Biafra in person before. I have seen Ministry in concert a long time ago. It was like the early 90s. I was going through my tickets again, which I've been doing a lot for this project, just kind of remembering what I saw when back in the day. And I did get to see Ministry, I think it was early 90s. It was somewhere in the early 90s. And what's interesting is the back of the album cover here. How do I point it right here? The back of the album cover, you can see the credits. If you look carefully, I can barely read it. But they had to change their names slightly. At least the folks on Ministry. I think they were still with Warner Brothers at the time, 1990. Or one of those big record labels. Was it one? Does that even make sense? It was one of those. It doesn't matter, but they were with a big record label, and they couldn't release other music under their own names. So to work around it, they just made up fake names, but it was really clear who it was, and I guess that got around it. I think that symbol on the top of the back of the album there is the Alternative Tentacles symbol. So Jello Biafra is represented there. Since he basically came up with the label, he can kind of do whatever he wants, I think, for the most part. So his name is properly credited on the far right. You can see it says Jello Biafra vocal deprogramming. But you got Jeff Ward there. I can't quite read that. Paul Barker. His name looks correct. And then you got Alien Jorgensen. Maybe this isn't the album where they had to obfuscate their names. I thought it was. I know they've got some albums where they do that. God, I'm really rambling now. Let's go to the wheel and see what we're going to be talking about next time. All right, this wheel isn't getting much smaller, even though I'm working my way through these bands. Segleper, however you say it. I don't know how to say it. It's a made-up Icelandic word, I think. I think it is. Anyway, we will talk about that next time. The band is Sigur Rós from Iceland, and the song Segleper, or however the hell you say it. That's what we're going to cover next time. Completely different than LARD, and have a good one. fucking rambling.